Hi, everybody. Mario Francisco Robles, MFR here with you, and I just had to chime in on this breaking news. It just came out. Warner Brothers is making a new Superman movie. Right now, Deadline is referring to it as a reboot, but they admit they don't know if Henry Cavill is coming back, so we don't know exactly what extent of a reboot this will be. But while that remains to be seen, there were two details they did confirm. One was who's producing it. And it confirms long-standing rumors. J.J. Abrams is going to be producing this next Superman movie. As of now, they don't have a director. I suppose it's a possibility that Abrams ends up in the director's chair. But for now, he's just the man behind the scenes, kind of pulling the strings and getting the team in place. And that's kind of where I like Abrams. I trust Abrams as the guy who puts the team in place. And honestly, his team captain so far, the first hire he's made, makes me as a Superman fan jump for joy. Because you see, I love a Superman story that has some heft to it, that has something to say, that's not just a good guy fighting a bad guy. To me, the best Superman stories have things to say about America, have things to say about how humans are treating one another, about where we are as a society. The best Superman stories have ideas. They have ideals to strive toward, if you know what I mean. And that's why it's a big deal who they hired to write it. Because they hired Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's a reporter. He's covered political stuff. He's written books. He's worked on Black Panther. This is a guy who has an interesting stance on where we are as a society and has interesting opinions on truth, justice, and the American way, and kind of maybe how we could find our soul again as a nation. And even just in general, this is not some little like fluff puff piece writer. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a serious, big-time writer and author. So if they're starting with this guy who clearly has opinions, is more philosophical and more intellectual in the way that he handles things, if they're hiring someone like that to write a new Superman movie, I mean, to me, that's like Christmas morning. To me, that is the big headline. You know, listen, I'm excited that there's finally an actual Superman movie to look forward to now. Who knows how long it's going to take for it to come together. But to me, like, the big news is that they hired like a serious writer with a serious perspective who has something to say. They hired that kind of a writer to handle the next Superman story. So listen, I cannot even tell you what an amazing week this has been for yours truly. Because I just finished recording episode 125 of the Fanboy Podcast. You should totally check that out. It's arriving today. And I spend like 32 minutes just talking about the Superman and Lois premiere this past Tuesday and how I was blown away by it. So what kind of a week am I having all of a sudden? I had Superman and Lois on Tuesday, and then on Friday, I get news that Warner Brothers is making another Superman movie and that they've hired a serious, legitimate writer to handle it. I mean, this is like Christmas. Is it finally paying off to be a Superman fan? It's finally paying off to be a Superman fan. As someone who spent so much of my adult life waiting for the next installment of a Superman story that I'm intrigued by, suddenly this week is just here. This is for you. You've been waiting patiently. So all of us Superman fans who feel like we've been sort of left out in the dust while all these other heroes get a chance to shine and get a new reboot every 3 years while we wait to see Superman again, I hope you take a moment to acknowledge what an amazing week we've had. And this is huge news. I cannot wait to discuss it on future episodes of The Fanboy. For now, be sure to check out 125 on your podcast feeds and over here on the YouTube channel within the next couple of hours.